Hi there, my name is Alex, but I'm also known as Chibiyuto, and welcome to another video review of Clamp's Doujinshis. This time, I'm doing the video review of the 5th Doujinshi released by Clamp. This one was released on May 1st of 1988, and it's a Doujinshi about a work called Ginga Eiyuu, yes, I'm reading, Ginga Eiyuu Densetsu, which in English, the English title is Legend of the Galactic Heroes, and it's a sci-fi series of novels by an author called Yoshiki Tanaka. Does that name ring a bell to you? Yes, that is the author of Shoryuden, which, as you may or may not know, Clamp did the illustrations for the pocket edition version of, which is also a series of novels, and Clamp did the inside and cover illustrations for the pocket version. So just imagine what an honor for Clamp to, having been a fan back in the days they were still doujinshi artists, to be years later invited to actually draw the illustrations for the pocket version of an author that they admire. Wow, it must have been really huge to them. So this is the doujinshi we're doing today, the review. The full title here is Ginga Eiyuu Densetsu Satsujin Jiken. So Ginga Eiyuu Densetsu is the work name. Satsujin Jiken, I don't remember the meaning right now, but I will look it up later and put it at the bottom of the video. This series is composed by 10 volumes. It's a novel series of 10 volumes that ran from 1982 until 1987. And this is a doujinshi not only about this work, but it's also about Shoryuden. It's mostly about the legend of the Galactic Guardians, but there's also a bits of Shoryuden. So I guess you can call it that this is a doujinshi, a Clamp doujinshi about Yoshiki Tanaka's works. So at least some of them. Fun fact, this doujinshi right here was the last one that I got out of the 22. It was actually the hardest to find, and I don't know why, but it took me a long time. It took me 2 years since I started collecting Clamp's doujinshis to finally find this one. And to this day, I don't see it very often. Even when I'm browsing online for other Clamp stuff, this one, I see other doujinshis quite frequently, but this one, it's pretty rare, and I cannot tell why exactly. Maybe there weren't a lot of printed copies available, I don't know. The thing is that it was the last one that I got, and it made me really happy to have my collection completed. So without much delay, let's go to the review, and I hope you like it. Okay, so this is the front cover. It was drawn by Mokona Papa. As you can see, it looks pretty much like her style. No secret there. And here is the back cover. We have like a short comic, a gag, and I can't really tell who drew this. Then we have the spine with the title. It says that it's a doujinshi about Legend of the Galactic Heroes and Shoryuden. So a few things to say about this before we begin. I like that this one, the cover is it's on the horizontal side, so it's not vertical, it's this way. So it's interesting that they were playing around with the dimensions. And the other thing I wanted to point out is the thinness. It's really thin. It's a very short book in comparison to the previous ones, and I think the reason is that because the gap between the previous one, the 4th one, and this one, the 5th one, was only 1 month. So if you remember, the previous one was released in April, and this one was released in May. We have the release date here, so May 1st of 1988. So I guess they were working on a lot of things at the time. You will see that there are other doujinshis coming out, so I guess they were doing smaller releases but consistent and consecutive releases. Here you can see there's a tagline that says, "Who killed Kirihiyaisu?" So Kirihiyaisu is a character from Legend of the Galactic Heroes, and I don't know who he is, but apparently it's a doujinshi about who killed this guy. So it's like a mystery doujinshi, but it's also a bit of comedy going on. So when we begin, before the doujinshi itself, there are some cards with lyrics, song lyrics. So we have this one here with an illustration by Seina Nao. We have another one here with an illustration by Mokona, most likely. Then one by Tamayo Akiyama. And then one from Lisa Sei. So these lyrics were probably, I would guess they were written by Clamp, but I am not sure. In this one, the summary, the index, is actually on the back side. So the very last page you have the index, and it's also sorted by the category. So first you have here thanks and guest page, then you have the comics by Clamp, then the novel, illustrations, and then they sorted out the bit about Shoryuden, and then there's this section called etc. Okay, so it was released on May 1st, so it was during Golden Week. It's a very important holiday in Japan. So here we have a story. This one is by a guest. Okay, so you can see here in the back, yeah, page 4 is a guest artist. This one, page 6, yeah, by the same guest. This one on page 7 is by Okyon, and I think there is a mistake on the index because it says that page 7 is by Tamayo Akiyama, but here on page 7 we have Okyon's signature, so I would say it's probably a mistake. She might have drew this one though, the previous one, page 6, I'm not sure. And then we have more guest artists, I would say. Yes, so page 8. Yeah, so this first few pages, they put all the guest artists here. Then we have some random illustration by a guest artist as well. Here we have a comic by Lisa Sei. It lasts 3 pages, and then another illustration by the same guest artist who drew this one right here. Then we have the guests leaving messages for Clamp, and then we have a comic by Mokona. So you see her signature here. It's a pretty long comic. I mean, long if you take into account this the size of the stories in this one. It takes 4 pages, which is long, let's put it this way. Then we have this part that it's about Shoryuden, so it's called Omake no Shoryuden. So we have the 4 brothers here, their names, and the colors is the color page is different. If you notice, it's green, so it's like a whole new section. And so these are all comics about Sohryuden, which is from the same author, Yoshiki Tanaka. This one here is by Mokona. You can't really see her signature, and it's so weird because it says by someone else's name, but it's really by Mokona. You can not only tell by the art, but also it says so, page 33 in the index. So it's here, Mokona. This one is some guest artists. Again, Mokona. This one here. Mokona again. So it's a sort of long comic about Shoryuden. Yeah, it takes quite a lot of pages. It's really well drawn also. And then we have a novel by Nanase Okawa and Nick Nekoi. So Nekoi probably drew, well, very likely she drew the illustrations, and the novel, the text is by Okawa. So this one is called I Feel the Echo. So here is another illustration by Nekoi and another one. Then we have a random illustration by Mokona. This one here, it's a pretty, very pretty illustration. And then this comic by Seinana that is called Beyond. It takes a few pages, 4 pages. And we're almost at the end. It's a very, very short one. It's only 50 something pages. The staff section, where we see the usual messages from the clamp members. They were still 12 at the time, so you have all of them here. And this one has their names written in a Romanji character, so it's easier for me to read. So these were all of them. They always picked some character that would represent themselves, and they would write a little message about this publication. And the very final one, which is the index page, I just showed you. I miss Satsuki Igarashi on this one. She didn't do like, there is not any evident contribution by her. So it's a pretty short doujinshi. As you can see, there's only 54 pages, and it's also not very elaborated design-wise. It's there's nothing special on the cover. It's still a pretty nice looking doujinshi, and I like the fact that the cover goes like this. Hey, thanks for watching the video. I highly recommend you watching the previous 4 ones in case you haven't done so already. And also, in case you don't know, I have a website about clamp in which I post news, reviews, and other clamp related materials. The address is chibiyuto.com. I would love if you could pay a visit there. And see you later for the next video. Bye.